Okay, Matt Coffey here with our mid-month review. This is a July review. We're going to talk about a couple of things that will hopefully keep you interested to just listen for a little bit about what we're experiencing. We've been working with hundreds of med spas, vein centers, plastic surgeons, chiros, radiology, spine, PT, boy, you name it, we are in it, in a lot of wellness centers and different types of variations. The key here is to think about what's happening in the market. There is a huge demand, a huge demand right now, a curve that we have never seen before, especially in the Northeast happening. In July alone, we've seen some record months with some of our clients. Now, that means that the market is becoming used to going out. They are seeing people drive to procedures. They're seeing videos of people on Facebook getting procedures, and that's the key. What we see, especially in the South, is not a decline. And you'd think with spiking cases now of Florida, Texas, and some of the southern states, that there would be a lessening and there would be challenges. We're not seeing the case. I don't think people in the South have got the same perception as the North, where up here there's masks and gloves and still people in their cars with masks on. It's not the same in the South. We've always seen pretty much a flat just sort of growth. Here in the Northeast, it's absolutely skyrocketing right now as people are springing up and just saying, you know what, I've had enough of going out, I'm going to do this. But they're serious. And that's the thing I always like to see, which is that our conversions going up, costs coming down, because more people are going out that are serious, because they're only going to go out if they're really serious. They're not going to go in, fill in a form and not show up, because literally, like, this is like their thing. This is their out. A lot of people are working from home and they want to get out and do something, and they're going to plan their day around something like this. So if you're in an elective procedure, you have to think about what's going on in people's heads. Now, another thing to consider is about the cost per lead. A lot of medical marketing has been shut off, meaning that we had a lot of clients leave us just because they said, I'm not going to do it. They're not going to turn on. They decided not to come back. They're literally just shut off and they've turned their practice down. We see about 50% of these practices that are off. So your competition is gone. You have the opportunity of a lifetime to go out and work in a field that has less competitors. How often does that happen? It's usually the opposite. More competitors are coming in. Now you got less competitors. So you can get more conversion, because people are more apt to convert because they just want to go out and do something. They want to convert because they want to go out. They're serious. Costs come down because there's lower competitors. It is a perfect storm. It is the time to start to market. We've never seen anything like it. With Botox costs $2 to $4 per lead at some point this week. Unbelievable. Cool sculpting leads at $25 a lead. Vein center, same thing, $25 to $50 per lead. These the return on investment's absolutely there. So again, not just in aesthetics and medical practices that are, sort of cash paid, but also in the PT and the chiro world, we're seeing great cost per leads around $14 for like a $39 special to come in, or in the PT world where we don't really use specials per se because there really isn't a money off because it's all insurance based. We're seeing a lot of uptake when we start to hit specific targets, and there's a lot of people getting injured because of obviously they're all working out from home and they're all running around now. So they even unfortunately my wife even broke her toe this weekend. So it's almost as if there are plenty of opportunities all across the boards where there is opportunity to really dig into the market, where there is some gold and then their hills, because you are not facing what normally we see. So let's talk about what's going to happen. September is going to hit. Whether or not you believe it's going to get worse or better or stay the same, neutrality in this market is about the best thing you can do, just staying steady. We've seen some of the practices that have been running since March, and they never stopped. They've stayed steady and gone up, and they had 2 months of pause where they're just taking data, and then they sprung back as people got back into the systems. But in all reality, consistency now, when you're talking about mid-July, and let's say you want to get started, hey, I'm ready to go for a campaign, and I want to get started, and I want to run Facebook ads and for my practice, or I want to get stuff started for my for the office. you're looking at like 2 weeks to get started now. So actually, so let's just say you're taking on, whether it's us or another marketing company, you're getting started. It's going to take you 2 or 3 weeks to get up and running with everything. And then a couple of weeks to get actually people to come in. So it's almost like I'd say almost a 6-week window. So now you're talking literally into August, and you've got that August lull. So now you're really talking about fall for real predictably like good lead flow. You're going to get good lead flow for the first couple of weeks in August, but then it's going to die out as people go out, and then they come back in that first week of September. And that those 2 or 3 weeks of September are going to be the killer weeks, because I think you're going to find that that's going to be one of the best times of all this year to be marketing, because people will be back with some sense of normality. They'll have some sense of reality that they can actually do stuff, because even up here in the Northeast, where we have the hardest lockdowns and all this, they're talking about school. So I do think that, if you're looking at saying, okay, I want to get this started, but I don't know when, I'm trying to pick the right time, you've got to get impacted right now into thinking through this process for actually September, because that's when everything's going to hit. So I think if you were to say, make your decisions about looking now at a 8-week run, where you want to think about what you're going to be doing 8 weeks from now. What do you want? How many patients do you want? What do you want to look like? Because that's really where this will actually hit. So if you're considering doing this, you're considering getting engaged with a marketing company like us, or again, trying to get leads flowing, this is the time to work for your beginning of September strategy right now. I implore you to think about the fact that things are going to change. Spikes will come down. There will be some impact. There's going to be some vaccine at some point. And the people who start getting in the data and running their campaigns strongly now are going to reap the rewards. We've seen it back in the fall of every single year it goes by. It's like the fall comes, people rush into us, and they're like, oh, I got to get my campaign up and running. It's September. And by the time it's up and running, it's October, November. They've missed 6 weeks of really good revenue. Same thing in the spring. We see it all the time. People rush to us in April, and they now turn on for May, and they miss sort of the whole first 2 weeks, 3 weeks of April, where they could have gotten. We didn't have that this year. Remember, we missed an entire section. A lot of the country missed their whole spring selling season. So you've got to make sure that you've got to be running in the fall. You're going to have to catch up on revenue. It's the time to do this now, before it's too late, before the competitors enter the market. You're talking about a 50% less competition. Again, costs are down, conversions are up, because people are serious. They're going out. They're actually going to go out. They're not tire kicking. So do yourself a favor, invest some time into looking into doing campaigns if you haven't already. And for those who are running campaigns, I'm sure you're seeing some of the good positive impacts that are happening right now. So I implore you, as someone who sees this from across the country, hundreds of accounts, hundreds of campaigns, there is a really good opportunity coming in this fall time, but you've got to get engaged now. By the time, if you roll around to September, if you're waiting through the summer to see how it will be, you're really missing the boat. You're going to miss that 6-week, 8-week, sort of area where there is the maximum amount of revenue gained, probably for this year, as people are going to be going back to some sort of normal. Anyways, I hope this finds you well, and I'll talk to you in the next mid-month in August.